news channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
What's up? How you guys doing? Let me make sure I got audio real quick. Hopefully I do. Hopefully everything's good. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? I'm feeling better. I've actually been in the studio. Well, I've actually been in the front of the store all day long, printing shirts and working and doing everything. Just quick note to Craig Davenport in the chat. If you don't like music or you don't, just bye. Anyway, I guess he didn't like my intro song, so he's like criticizing it. Let me make sure I have audio. Good. All right. So what are we going to talk about today, man? So for anyone that doesn't know, we've been covering Kyle Rittenhouse during the day, Monday through Friday, 8-hour live streams. I was also super sick all week long. Essentially, Monday I started feeling like shit. Tuesday in the bed, Wednesday in the bed, Thursday came in to try to actually get some work done, made it about 20 minutes in the bed, and then Friday I came in, shipped what I printed on Thursday, and then went right back to bed. But today I'm feeling better. So we're gonna talk about kind of everything that's happened over the past past week, because I haven't done a show, so a lot of people are like, "Oh, Steve, where are you? Oh, you're sick. You're not allowed to be sick. How are we gonna get our news?" Well, I have no idea how you're gonna get your news if we're not here, but I'll do my best not to get sick anymore. And I'm still sniffy, and I still I had to go to Lowe's to buy an extension cord and an adapter so I could plug in the RV, and I coughed and I felt so bad because I don't wear masks anymore because Joe Biden said that we had to wear a mask. So at that point I stopped wearing masks, and I felt bad because I coughed, and it was like a good throaty cough. And then the whole time after that, I'm walking through and I'm trying not to cough anymore, but I had that tickle in my chest. And so I knew I was going to cough, and I was trying not to. And so I just waited until I used the self-checkout. It took forever to print the receipt. And then I walked out the door and I'm like, into my jacket. But whatever. It's cold too. I mean, so it is what it is. The sinuses, they're getting me. I'm still all stuffy. My wife is stuffy. The RV was kind of dusty when we got it yesterday. So when did we get it? Yesterday. So when we got inside to look around and play around in it, we sniffles and all that stuff because the dust came out. But yeah, April, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just tell me when you're available tomorrow in the chat if you can. Good things, April. Don't worry. But yeah, so it's let's talk about some of the big stories right now, okay? They passed the infrastructure bill. We're going to talk about that in a second and how that's going to be horrible for trucking. We'll talk about that in a minute. But some of the other big stories, because there are a lot. We know that last night in Astro World, there was a concert in Houston, Texas, where I don't know what the hell actually happened. There's a lot of misconception about what happened. The latest reporting, I guess, from Astroworld employees, including a security guard, is that someone may have been going around injecting people, including children, with something, which I guess caused the push. A security guard ended up saying that he was injected with something in his neck. The paramedics, and this was just confirmed by Fox News, I think, actually just confirmed this too. Paramedics looked at it and said, yes, that is consistent with an injection. Astroworld employees spoke to TMZ hours ago and said that someone was randomly going around and injecting people, which that may have been the cause of the stampede. Now, I don't know what the cause could have been. I just don't know how someone that calls themselves an artist or anybody could have continued performing and doing his show yesterday. Now, there's video on social media, and I'm not going to show it because I'm not set up right now to do it, but there's video on social media where you can see Travis Scott, who's some rapper dude. I don't know anything about him, but he ended up singing a song or rapping, whatever that's called, and then stopping because there was someone that was passed out and the security was trying to get to him. And then he said, "Hey, security, you got a guy passed out over there." And then he just continued on with the song. He told he saw an ambulance that was literally, I mean, here's the crazy thing. You can find the videos online. An ambulance was going through this crowd of people trying to get to all the people that were injured because they knew there was people that were injured there. And people are dancing on top of the ambulance, and it's unclear whether there were patients inside that ambulance or whether they're trying to go and render care. This was inside the concert, so it was that bad that they figured, okay, we'll jump in the ambulance and drive into the crowd of people and hope that they get out of the way. Well, Travis Scott said, "Throw your middle fingers up and rush to the stage," or some shit like that in his video. So a lot of people, a lot of his fans, to be honest, on social media are kind of turning on him. We do have some sad news to report. 8 people were killed. I did 4, but 8 people were killed, including a 10-year-old. This is we haven't really confirmed this yet, but some news is reporting a 10-year-old child was killed, a 16-year-old child was killed, at least one college student was killed. Numerous children were injured. I don't know why the hell you would have your kids at a Travis Scott concert with 50,000 people. I mean, and I've never really heard of Travis Scott before this, so I looked him up, and he's got a history of inciting crowds. I think in 2019 the same thing started. He actually put out a promo video for this Astroworld Festival, which enticed people to break, to do all the shit. And there's just so much stuff about this that doesn't make any sense. Why it wasn't canceled as soon as in broad daylight around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they all stormed it and broke into the damn event anyway. They all broke into the event. Sorry, I'm going to cough, and I know it's not good radio etiquette or TV etiquette. I'm going to cough, dude. I'm getting over a cold, so you guys got to deal with it. But it's crazy. Someone said the news conference said the youngest killed was 14. I don't know. One local news outlet's reporting that a 16-year-old was killed, a 10-year-old was killed, several other children injured. We can only go off of what information we have available when I do the show. But it's absolutely nutty, and I mean, there's video around. I tweeted a video yesterday on the PT News Network Twitter. I tweeted a video which showed them actually trying, like security guards actually trying to trip people and tackle them. There's one security guard that picks up and body slams someone as hundreds and hundreds of people are coming in. You got horses, police on horseback trying to stop people from going in. That was daylight. That was before any of this happened. Why the event wasn't canceled? Because they didn't just storm the entry gates at one place. They did it at 3 different gates getting into this event, and yet they continued the event. So apparently Live Nation issued a heartfelt, 2-sentence statement saying they're sorry that this happened. Apparently security there were roughly 750 security that were there and 500 police officers. Now that's the thing. Everyone has to remember, if you watch the press conference, they said there were 300 police officers that were normally scheduled and they held over another 200 for the second shift. It doesn't mean that there were 500 police officers. From what I understand, I think that means they had 540 police officers on duty to protect the entire city, let alone this event. I could be wrong about that. They could have had 500 officers just at this event. But then again, you have what? So that's 500 plus 700 security guards that were provided by Live Nation or whatever the thing is. And I mean, it's a lot. Someone said you sound terrible. Christina, what? I sound terrible right now? I thought I sounded better than I did the other day. You should have like Bruce. Bruce called me at like 7:30 at night, and he's like, "Oh my God, dude, you sound like you're gonna die." And I'm like, "Yeah, I held it together all day, but now you're calling me, and I'm trying to sleep." Hopefully, I don't sound too bad, but you sound terrible. I didn't think I sounded too. Yeah, I'm coughing and sniffling, but that's the tail end of the cold. You know what? I feel good. I feel like I could go run, to the front of the store before I get winded, but it is what it is. Someone said you sound a lot better than you did. That's good. Yeah, I was super sick. I was super. Someone said CNN Communist Network is talking about all that horrible, tragic event. All right, well, let's talk about communist networks, right? You guys hear Newsmax, okay? And a lot of people here are like Newsmax, conservative news outlet, blah blah blah. And I try not to like rant on other news outlets. Sorry, I'm gonna cough. I'll try to like mute the mic or something. But I'm also like, I don't know. I got a respiratory sinus thing going on. It's not COVID. I can taste shit. I made brownies yesterday and they were good, except guess what? I used canola oil to for the pan so they didn't burn or so they didn't stick to the pan. Guess what they did? They stuck to the pan. Pissed me off, but they're still delicious. Even my kids were like, oh my gosh, Dad could bake. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a new hobby. Probably not, but whatever. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, so Newsmax. So there's an article that was put out by Mediaite today. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Mediaite, they're pretty good. I don't know what. We're actually going to kind of start doing something similar. They take a lot of clips and they write articles based on those clips. We're going to kind of start doing some of that probably in the next couple of weeks, just because it's another way of driving traffic in and getting you guys to see news that you probably wouldn't like. Who's going to go watch CNN and find a clip? We actually have a software that we pay a lot every month for that'll grab those clips for us. Anyway, Newsmax, this is according to Joe DiPaolo for Mediaite. They are breaking the news yesterday at 5:43 p.m. that Newsmax told all its staff in an internal email that they are going to implement the vaccine mandate and all employees must be vaccinated by, January 4th, or be forced to undergo a weekly test. And this is to go along with rules that were set by the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, OSHA requirement. Now, you already know, like the Daily Caller or Daily Wire, they've already filed a lawsuit. A bunch of other states, a bunch of other businesses, actual conservatives that give a shit about, your right to choose and all that stuff. Well, they've all filed lawsuits. Apparently, Newsmax just folded just as quick as they did as they got that subpoena from Dominion Voting Systems. They just went, oh, God, liberal, and turned liberal and mandated all their employees to either get vaccinated or subject themselves to Q-tips up the nose. I thought that was hilarious. As soon as I heard this, I'm like, it's not that surprising, because if you look at the programming. Plus, didn't they steal the name of this show? I think they did. You guys suck, and you copyright all my videos all the time. You can't create this. Yeah, I have some animosity with Newsmax because they consistently copyright my videos, which I don't know how. I guess because it says Wake Up America or that it has it in the intro, and I have to fight them on the copyrights every time. That's why sometimes on my videos, you'll see it's like, this video is owned by Newsmax. The fuck it is. This video is owned by Steve, okay? And I usually win too, but I just thought that was funny. I just thought it was funny. So, Conservative News Network informed staffers of the move on Thursday in a staff-wide email obtained by Mediaite. Newsmax cited the implementation of COVID rules by Occupational Health and Safety Administration as a reason for the mandate. The email informed staff by saying, to ensure we are in compliance, we require that all vaccinated employees submit a copy of their vaccination card. The move is, and Mediaite that goes on, because Mediaite's kind of liberal too, and they go on to say the move is unlikely to be well received by the network's conservative hosts. A number of the Newsmax personalities have denounced vaccine mandates on a regular basis over the past several weeks. On Thursday night, Newsmax host Steve Cortez notably railed against mandates, calling them an example of dictatorial rule under President Joe Biden. There is zero moral or ethical obligation for anyone to be compelled to get vaccinated, he said. He added that mandates are insane workplace discrimination. According to the company email, the mandates that Cortez bills as insane workplace discrimination is coming from his workplace. You can't even make this up. It's so funny. I almost want to go out and hire 99 people just so I could sue the Biden administration, but now I don't need to, because if you didn't hear today, an appeals court, I think it's a Fifth Circuit appeals court, said "Fada!" and chopped that mandate in half and said, well, actually they didn't chop it in half. They put a pause on it and gave the government, the United Biden administration, until 5 o'clock on Monday to answer as to why this isn't why it doesn't completely shatter constitutional rights of people. So they actually put a stay on this temporarily until and the government has to reply by 5 o'clock on Monday night, or they have a permanent injunction for at least that state, which is Texas, Louisiana, some other states. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I just thought it was funny that a conservative news outlet, one that boasts, and they all do it. You can't, I know Fox News has some sort of vaccination mask requirement, blah, 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 or COVID test, requirements. And here's the thing. I don't even really care that much about a COVID test requirement. I understand the idea of it because here's the thing. My view on COVID is I can't really talk about it that much on social media, but I believe I've had it. It sucks. Tim Pool just had it. It sucked. He even said it was the worst thing he's ever had. A bunch of people have had it. A bunch of people have died as a result of everything else that happens with it. And so we know, COVID is it's a bad illness. We all know that. But here's the thing. And this is the way I thought in the beginning. If me wearing a mask provides some sense of security for somebody else, that maybe if I did have it, even though it doesn't do anything to protect you, it supposedly stops the spores from going out and connecting to other people, which, but I used to have the feeling that I'd wear a mask to be, respectful to other people who would want me to wear a mask. I don't do that anymore. Ever since Biden, remember a couple of months ago, he's like, you either wear a mask or you either get vaccinated or you wear a mask. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Now you just ruined that for everybody else. And I haven't worn a mask since, unless I go to the hospital. If I go to a hospital, I'll wear a mask. But it's really funny. It's really funny. Just how crazy everybody's gotten with this. And the protests, which you don't see in London yesterday or this morning or whatever, it's Saturday over in London, they stormed the parliament and they're fighting with the police and all that stuff. Paris had it. Germany had it today. Berlin. There were protests all over the world with it. You had protests last night in Las Vegas, I believe. You got protests, little ones. There's one in Detroit today. Outside, hospital workers actually protesting it. You had all the protests in North Carolina that we covered. You got big protests, usually during the week now in New York City, which is great that they're actually doing it. I just wish it was during the weekends when we weren't covering a trial. But they do it all over the place. So I just think it's crazy. The whole thing is just so nuts, man. It really is. And now you got I can't talk about that, but just look up football players because there's been several football players, and not like American football. I'm talking about football everywhere else. Footballers, as they're called everywhere else, but they're apparently dropping dead at a young age. I don't know why. There's been like 3 in the past week, but who knows? And that's one of the things I was thinking about with this Astroworld thing last night before I found out someone may have been injecting them with some weird shit. I was wondering how many of the people that because 17 people were transported to the hospital, I don't believe that includes the 8 that had perished, the 8 that died. 17 people were transported to the hospital, 11 of which had cardiac events, cardiac arrest, were in cardiac arrest, which meant they were dying. It meant their heart would stop. That's what cardiac arrest is. But I wonder how many of those people have been vaccinated. That is something that I want to see. You know what I mean? Because we all know what some of the things are with the thing, with the I got to think of another word to say it so we can with the I can't say hoo-ha. I don't know what with the mustache. Let's just call that COVID is keyword for now is when I say mustache, it means COVID. I don't know. It's just crazy. Someone else just joined and said, what are we talking about? I don't know. You're going to have to go back to the beginning of the video and figure it out. But man, so we've only covered 2 stories and it's been 20 minutes? That's how long. That's how much news has happened. I haven't even gotten to the Rittenhouse trial. I haven't even gotten to anything, really. We talked about this stampede. We talked about here's some good news for you. Okay, the new jobs report came out. 540,000 jobs were added. Not really. Our unemployment number is still higher than what it was in let's just say February of 2019. Or let's go November of 2019. Our unemployment rate was 3.7 million. Now we're at 4.5 million. So he could say he's adding all these jobs. We've added more jobs in the past 5, than the past 5 administrations. Biggest job growth in the past 50 years. It's all fucking bullshit. I mean, to be completely honest, when you actually look at the numbers, you're not adding any jobs. In fact, we still have 4.5 million people unemployed. And those are the people that are actively seeking employment. That doesn't take into account all the lazy ass people that are sitting at home right now. I almost said watching this show, and I was like, wait, why would you do that, Steve? I don't know. But Man, it's crazy. So he talked about that yesterday. Today he gave some speech today where he was talking about his big infrastructure plan, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But he said, "Oh, it's infrastructure week." He's like, "I've been waiting so long to say that." Camilla Harris in the background's going, all the journalists are laughing because they're stooges. Yeah, finally, a journalist, when I guess he's just tired of taking a bunch of shit about not answering questions. So he's been trying to take a question or two, and he takes a question from someone today who asked him again about all these payments that he's apparently going to make to the families of illegal immigrants that were to the families of asylum seekers who were separated from their children under the Trump administration, because it only happens then. And then he started yelling. And he was like, "Oh, no one has the right to lose their kid," or something like that. And apparently our taxpayer dollars are what are going to pay for people that are trying to come into our country illegally. And it's tragic. I'm not trying to minimize the fact that, yes, some kids were lost and parents didn't know where their kids anymore. Here's an idea. Take care of your fucking kids and don't try to commit misdemeanor crimes by breaking into another country. How about that? I know it's a very insincere thing to say, especially from me, because I have liberal views on what we should do with children at the border. I think we should do whatever we can to get them in and help them, because I'm a human. And I know a lot of people disagree because they're like, "Well, where does that end, Steve? Where does that end?" And I'm like, I don't know, but they're kids. You know what I mean? I have a soft spot there. Someone said, "Question, did Steve ever write his book?" Jane said, "Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's not quite done yet." And here's the thing, because there's a lot of naysayers that are like, "Steve, sold books and blah, blah, blah." Anyone who doesn't want to get a book, send me an email. I'll refund your $35 or whatever the hell it was. Provide the receipt and I'll refund it. I don't know when the book's going to be done. I've been sick. I have 180 pages written. I'm not even close to being done with what I want to write. It's taken a lot longer than I wanted to. You're more than welcome to send me an email and I'll send you your $35 back. And then we can move on from there. Maybe I'll send an email to everyone that did it, just because there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, he never did it." I'm still working on it. It takes a lot of time to write a book and run a media company too. Unfortunately, I've been on a little too much there, but I'm still working on it, and I write every single day. I just didn't write this past week because I was deathly ill. Anyway, but let's talk about some of the other stuff. What else? So what? Let's talk about the Rittenhouse trial, because this thing has been like a disaster, man. It really has. But good, a good disaster. But it's almost like they're setting up deliberately so they have something bad, or so something bad can happen. So from day one, the whole thing was weird. The way they were handling it was weird. They did the jury selection. They completed it all in one day, which didn't make any damn sense to me. They did the voyeur, or whatever the hell it is, where they interview all the jurors separately. They did all that off camera, which I thought was really odd, especially after watching the Chauvin trial, seeing how long jury selection took, hearing those questions. I thought that would be good for us to actually understand the jury and the mindset of why the defense was okay with some of these jurors and all this stuff. But here's the thing. As soon as the opening statements happened, I was like, wait, this is weird, because the prosecution, which led off the opening statements on day 2 of this trial, Tuesday, they were literally making a pretty damn a good case for self-defense. But like the whole time, and I was like, that's kind of odd. And then the defense kind of just said the same thing, self-defense, blah, blah, blah. Nobody denied the fact that Rittenhouse shot, because, well, you can't. It's on video. He knows. Everyone knows, because he was being attacked. I mean, you can't really argue that if you watch the videos. Everyone's argument there is that he should have never went there. And I'm going to talk about that because I have a different feeling about that. I think not only should he have gone there, every single person, every single American citizen that lived within 500 miles should have been there. That's what I firmly believe, because maybe more places wouldn't have burned down and more lives wouldn't have been lost. But that's just me. And I'll talk about that in a second. And then we started hearing all these witnesses, okay? And these witnesses they were state's witnesses, but they were not good, man. They were good for Kyle, right? They were good for Kyle. In all reality, I have not... And I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I have not heard a single piece of testimony that has been negative towards Kyle. I can't think of one that was negative. You know, they seem focused really on the Rosenbaum one because they're trying to say, well, that's the prosecution is really focusing a lot on Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum, if you guys didn't know who Rosenbaum was the first one. He was a little short, 5'3", bald, white guy that was dropping the N-bomb, telling everybody he was going to shoot him if he found him alone or kill him if he found him alone. This is testimony that everybody already knows. He's the one that we watched live when we covered that event live, because we covered the shooting live. We didn't know it was going to happen, but we covered that live. We saw him on the videos running around. He was captured on pretty much every streamer's feed because he was an erratic little guy with little man's complex walking up to everybody trying to pick fights. And apparently, I didn't catch on the feed where he said he was going to, catch one of them alone and kill them. One of the witnesses for the state said that the guy walked up to him and said, yeah, let me cut you alone. I'm going to kill you. So the defense or the prosecution team seems very full on just focusing on Rittenhouse. And the reason why they're doing it, and I know why they're doing it, because the other guy he killed, and I forgot his name, the other guy who he shot in self-defense was attacking him with a skateboard and a gun. I believe, right? No, that was the second one. The first one, what did the first one have? Did the first one have a skateboard? The second one had a gun. Yeah. That's what it was. The guy was attacking him with a skateboard, and he had just been kicked in the head by some anonymous guy that they're not even trying to find anymore, that was captured on his on film stomping on Kyle Rittenhouse's head. But that's okay. We don't know who he is. We have all this special technology, and the FBI had drones flying overhead, which we'll talk about in a second, but we don't know who the guy in the yellow pants was that jump kicked Kyle in the face. They're not even pursuing that. The whole thing is just, it's so weird. They're not focusing on the other death because, well, the guy was trying to hit him with a skateboard. And then they called a witness up that was talking about how nice of a guy this is, and he was just so kind. And then the defense attorney's like, yo, judge, this guy that they're portraying is all nice. He threatened to slice his brother's throat and was arrested for doing it. He threatened to slice his brother's throat. But let's go back to Rosenbaum, okay? Because there's stuff that we didn't know. I certainly didn't know this until I watched the trial. Someone said, dude, yellow pants didn't kick him. All right, well, someone kicked him. I don't give a shit if it was yellow pants or somebody else. Someone kicked him in the head. We watched the video. So maybe yellow pants was some other guy that did something else to him. I don't care. The only thing I know is that we have someone right now that's on trial for protecting a business and defending himself. Okay, I'm not going to get into semantics with someone else because I don't care. Okay, plus your name sucks, Poon Boy. Poon Boy on YouTube. Come on, bro. Trying to crack me in capital letters. Who the hell? Who the hell you think you are? This is Wake Up America. You should change your name. I don't like that anyway. Jump Kick Man. Jump Kick Man, and then Yellow Pants is a different guy. Okay, whatever. You're right. Anywho. What was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted by Poon Boy? Poon Boy, he's a longtime viewer too. He knows I'm just messing with him. He probably just rage quit. Was like, I'm out of here. Steve's on that NyQuil again. Anyway. So what was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted? All right. So you have Rosenbaum. Now, he was carrying this white bag, right? And there was a lot of confusion about what was in the white bag. You had one of the militia guys. Apparently, he was a Boogaloo boy. That's what April's found out. The fat, guy that was did 2 tours overseas. I believe that's what he said he was, the husky fella. Apparently, he's a Boogaloo. I'm not big fans of those guys anyway. I haven't confirmed that. To be honest, I was sick when April sent me the confirmation of that, so who knows. Anyway, he gets up there and he testifies, that this guy was threatening everybody and that he was watching for Kyle and he's watching out his back, and then all of a sudden he wasn't watching him anymore. And the prosecution's like, well, how come you weren't protecting him if that was your job to protect him? And he's like, well, because we're in the middle of a riot. Like, it was just almost, it's so weird when you actually watch a trial. I implore all of you guys to just watch it. Leave it playing like tonight. So the way this program is going to work on Citizen Stringer tonight, I've got One-Eyed Jack, a Marlon Brando film. I used to show it a long time ago. 2 hours and 20 minutes of good old Western classics. That's going to play on Citizen Stringer after this. And then I'm going to play day 2, day 3, and day 4. 18 hours of trial. Okay, so all day tomorrow, it's going to be the trial until 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we're going to be live on Citizen Stringer. Well, I think we may go live to all of social media. And it's going to be a recap of everything. But we're only giving prizes out to people on Citizen Stringer that are watching live that have a membership, because tomorrow is our year anniversary from when we've launched our OTT platform. We have a crap ton of members, and so we're going to be giving away shirts. I'm going to give away a 55-inch TV tomorrow. I'm going to give away a bunch of shit. I'll give away this shirt. I'll sign it for you. I don't sign anything ever. No, I'm not giving this shirt. I kind of like it. I just made this today. It's very nice. All right. Anyway, so Rosenbaum, remember that plastic? I'm on a roll today. Remember that plastic bag he was carrying? This is what happens when I can't do a show for a week. I just go nuts. You know what I mean? I have so much to say. So you know that plastic bag that Rosenbaum was carrying? Apparently, that was a hospital bag, if you didn't know. Now, it wasn't just a regular hospital bag. That's because he was in a mental hospital. And I'm not trying to laugh that the guy was a nutbag. I'm not trying to laugh about that. Apparently, he was in a mental wing in a regular hospital because he was trying to kill himself. Apparently he's bipolar. That did get introduced yesterday in trial. Apparently he was bipolar, beat up his girlfriend, and then said he was going to kill himself. He got out of the hospital, and he had that hospital bag full of his shampoo bottles and shit like that in an empty water bottle. Very weird. And then he walked over to his girlfriend's house, who had a restraining order against him and pending charges. And she's like, "You can't be here." And they left. Now, what's really weird about all this is the prosecution actually fought to not have, to say that he was in the hospital, but not have his medical history introduced. Why? Would they not want the jury to know that this guy just got out of the hospital for trying to kill himself when he was walking around telling people that are armed with AR-15s to shoot him? I don't know. Would that be a bad idea? Well, guess what? They opened the door and they figured it out. They didn't. I don't think they've released that he was in the hospital on a 5150 hold. I don't believe that's what's been released, but they did release that he's bipolar and that he's on gabapentin and a bunch of other antidepressants and things like that to try to keep him mellow, which obviously doesn't work. They should have upped that dosage. But it's very, very crazy stuff, man. The whole trial, every single witness. Oh, and then we have this weird witness. I think it was on day one, where it was an FBI witness that was in a drone over Kenosha, or in a plane over Kenosha. And there's some weird stuff that went on with that, because there's drone footage. And I know Jack Possabon with Human Events said that he, never seen footage, and he posted it out on Monday before the trial. It's weird because both Adam and I called each other as soon as he's like, "Oh, it's never been seen." We're both like, "Yeah, we saw this a couple of weeks ago." And I knew it, and I even said it during one of the sick recesses that I had, where I just came in, I was like, trying to recap what was happening while dying from sinus infections. But the FBI testified, I think it was on Tuesday night as well, and they shut down the cameras. The reporters were in there, and the reporters identified the FBI agent and all that stuff, but he was not televised, and so we don't know what his testimony is. The only thing we do know is they had two videos, one of which we've seen now, the drone footage with the infrared, and then they had a second video, but they don't have the second video anymore because they lost it. So the FBI testified that they had this footage, and this was what was on the footage, except we can't verify that footage because, well, the footage is gone. Like, you can't make that up either. Even the judge was like, "What the hell? Like, you can't do this." So it was it's just really weird stuff. The whole thing, the whole trial was weird, man. The whole trial was weird. When Kyle Rittenhouse walked with the hands up after defending himself 3 separate times, when he walked up, hands up to the car, they had the police officer that was in the car. The police officer said he pulled the gun on the guy because he saw him walking up and he knew he had a gun and all that stuff. And then the defense attorney says, is it reasonable to say that when he had his hands up and he's walking towards you, he was trying to surrender? And the police officer is like, "Yeah, that's reasonable." This is like such an open and shut case of self-defense. I don't even know what I don't know. I don't even know right now if he was found guilty. I was talking to Adam about it earlier today. I don't know what the world would do, because in all reality, you have to look at it. It's not just Kyle's life that's being affected here. It's everyone that ever wants to be able to defend property or defend themselves from anything. Because now and here's the bigger picture. And this is why I think everybody should pay attention to this case. Because, and I was hoping someone would actually say it. Like, all these people, they're like, the prosecution would like, why'd you come down here? Why'd you make the determination to come all the way down here with your AR-15, your big scary gun? Why'd you do that? They should have just been like, well, a community was being attacked. The police were severely outnumbered. It's our right and our responsibility as Americans to protect each other, to protect other Americans. Not one of them said it. Like, that would have been the best opening, because you would have had every single juror going, yep, damn right, good old America. Oh, wow. Well, let me get sidetracked again. So one juror apparently decided on day 2 of this trial, or day 1. I think it was day 1 of the trial, day 2 of the trial, Wednesday, and he was excused Thursday. Yeah, I think that's the day. Or maybe it was day 1 of the trial. I don't know. One of the jurors, juror number 7, I won't forget that, because it's just the fucking, someone made a comment once that, like, conservatives don't know when they're in the right position. Like, what, they always ruin it for themselves. And this is a prime example of it. It's just like one of the prospective jurors. He's like, I don't know if I could be impartial because I firmly believe in the Second Amendment and the right to defend yourself. And the state's attorney was like, bye. like, why would you even say that? Everyone should believe in the Second Amendment. It's in the fucking Constitution. Like, what do you expect? And everyone has a right to defend yourself, apparently, or we used to. Maybe that's what this whole trial is really about. But anyway, juror number 7 apparently told one of the jurors, or one of the deputies that was assigned to them during some break or something. He's like, do you know why Kenosha police only shot Jacob Blake 7 times? And I guess he was going to make a joke about they ran out of bullets or something like that. Like, you want to talk about an idiot. I mean, and the guy's like, well, I didn't know that was inappropriate. It doesn't have anything to do with this case. Motherfucker, they were rioting and burned down Kenosha because of the Jacob Blake shooting. It doesn't make any sense why he did it. So, of course, he was dismissed. And then they dismissed another one because she was having stomach pain, or she was having medical issues because she was pregnant. And it was just probably hard for her to sit on her butt all day, which I can't blame her. I have a hard time doing that all day myself, and I'm not pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So it's just very weird. This whole trial, when you think about it from a big picture, it's just weird. But I keep every single witness that's called up, I keep waiting for them to just be like, well, we're here because this is our it's not even our right. It's your responsibility to protect your neighbor. Like, for example, right now, guys, I want everyone sitting in the chat. We have 1,500 people watching on social media. I want every single one of you right now. If you walked outside your house right now, it doesn't matter whether you're liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative, atheist, goat, I don't care. If you walk outside of your house right now and you saw 4 or 5 people, and say you were armed, and you saw or had the ability to arm yourself, and you saw 4 or 5 people breaking into your neighbor's house, burning it down, attempting to burn it down, to steal them, to punch their senior citizens that live there, what would you do? Would you, 1, just call the police and say, well, I'm not doing it? 2, would you go grab your legal weapon and go protect that business? Or let's even go a step further. Say there was a group that was marching and saying, we're going to burn down 1774 Westminster Avenue, and say you lived at 1775. If you know there's a group of people marching to burn down your neighbor's place, what are you going to do? These people decided that they're not going to allow their community to be burned down. We saw for a year, last year, people just decide that they're going to let their communities burn down. We saw every single person that watched all our riot streams last year. We saw elderly men go out to defend their liquor stores, have their orbital bone broken while they're sucker punched. We saw people go out to protest or to stop people from, burning down their furniture stores, only to see them have their jaws broken. Elderly men. We've seen people viciously attacked. We've seen them stabbed. We've seen them killed. These people that went out there that day in their fancy militia garb and all that stuff with the bulletproof vests and their guns, they went out there to do a job that none of us did and that everybody should have. And then one of them found themselves in a confrontation where they had to use their weapon in order to save their lives, and possibly the lives of many others. Who knows? I've often wondered, what are you supposed to do? Remember the protests we watched in, I think it was Rochester, New York, or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I think it was where it was. There was a police-involved shooting where a guy came out, or police were called, and the body cam was released right away, but police were called to the house. The police rounded the corner. There's a woman at the top of the stairs. The guy pushes her out of the way and runs at the cop with a big butcher knife up over his head. Cop fires, kills him. Everybody riots. They start rioting. They attack the police department. They attack them for hours. And I was like, there's got to be more to it. The video comes out, and I was like, holy shit, this riot is done. The riot is done. There's nothing else they could have done. This guy was chasing at him with a knife. Screenshot perfect. We wrote articles on it. You could probably find it on Citizen Stringer. Just look up Lancaster riot or something like that. The guy, and we had the picture of him like this, maybe from here to that TV away. 8 or 9 feet away, the cop fired. And we watched on my feed, and I remember I went belligerent when I heard it. One of these protesters say the cop's job is not to shoot his weapon, it's to protect lives. And he should have given his life to protect the life of the person that was trying to kill him. This is this crazy woke mindset that is happening in this country right now. This is why Kyle Rittenhouse is on trial. Because here's the truth. Who do you think, let's just say, okay, I forgot the guy's name that died. Rosenbaum. Say Rosenbaum, when he reached out for that gun, right? Because we all know that's what he was doing now. They went into a whole, Richie McGinnis was there. He saw it all. He said he was running down and he was reaching, and then he got shot, and then he just fell. Say Kyle Rittenhouse didn't shoot. All right? Say he didn't shoot. And say Rosenbaum got the gun, killed Kyle. We already know he was a nutbag, right? We already know Rosenbaum was a nutbag, so he just goes and starts shooting everybody else, right? Then he goes up to the police. He's got, 28 rounds, 30 rounds in that gun? He goes up to the police and starts shooting at them, too. Whose job is it to protect that now? We all watched that night as the police were thanking those guys for being out there. We all watched that. And so for anybody to say, and everyone's like the big argument is Kyle didn't live there. He traveled there. It wasn't his community. If the community in Kenosha is burning, guess what? That's still my community. I'm an American. That's in America. And in all reality, that's what should have happened in cities across America last year. When all these protesters, because they announced it, right? They announced it. Oh, we're going to march at 7 o'clock through, some park, and we're going to go riot, and we're going to tear up the city. We've seen that. We've seen it all last year. Do you know what would happen if, say, you have 400, let's say 50 people protesting, and you got 100 citizens that come out? Because it did happen once. Remember? In Portland, it happened. Because Portland said, the mayor got out and asked everyone to go protect yourselves, essentially. Protect your communities. Go out and film. The people did. They went out and filmed. They went out and filmed everybody. And now the Portland police is actually taking a proactive. They just tried to have another Antifa march the other day. But the police, they broadcasted where they were going. And so the police were there and arrested a bunch of them, gave them traffic citations and all that stuff, stopping the inevitable violence that would have happened if they continued. That's what should have happened all last year. That's what should happen at all of these events when this kind of riot happens. And again, this wasn't the first day of the riot. This wasn't like, okay, well, we think this could happen. No, we already knew that this happened because the city burned the night before. And now everybody from out of town was coming in. They knew about it. We listened to the scanner live. We did. Everybody that was watching this video with me. That night, we listened to the scanner where the police are saying 40 cars. 40 cars are coming in. They have no license plates on. The police are blocking off the exit ramps to try to prevent that car caravans full of rioters from getting in. They can't arrest them. They don't have the people to do it, apparently. The cop testified to that. When was it? Friday? He testified to that, saying we were listening to the caravans of cars that were coming in. Normally we do patrol. That stuff happens. And in all reality, what we have now is we have a good guy with a gun that stopped a lot of bad stuff from potentially happening. And unfortunately, people died. People died as a result of that, but they were all people that were directly attacking the person with the gun, the good guy with the gun. And that's exactly what was happening. And I don't know what it was, because I was surprised to find out that Kyle had only shot 100, 200 rounds through that gun. Because the trigger, he knew what he was doing. I mean, I've seen, commentary from people that watch that video that have been shooting a long time and that are like, man, his trigger control was on point. I think it's tragic people died, but I also think it'll be a tragic mistake for the community of Kenosha and all those jurors if they find him guilty. Because this group of Americans that I always talk about that you don't want woken up, well, it's like every time, it's almost like they have to. I mean, even Steven Crowder's like, listen, if Kyle's found guilty, I mean, we're having a big ass protest right there in Kenosha. Steven Crowder has said that he's going to hold a massive protest in Kenosha if Kyle's is found guilty. Because Steven Crowder, just like you should, and I do, and everybody else, you should view this trial as a stepping stone to full and total control, and where you have no control over yourself or your personal protection or anything anymore. If you're not allowed to protect yourself, then what the hell? In your neighbor, what is your purpose? And that's what this trial means. This is someone that went out to protect his community. The kid was washing graffiti off. And it's not even like, well, you could say, well, community service, he's a really good kid. And he sometimes went and did, wash graffiti off. The kid was doing it that day. And then you have the two Otto, Sal and Sam, whatever their last names were, that testified on Friday too, and lied. They perjured themselves. Do you think that the prosecution's going to go after them now that we know that they lied under oath? They were both sworn in. Do you think that do you think the prosecution will go to them and be like, hey guys, there's this whole little thing called perjury. You're not allowed to perjure yourself. Sam was like, I gave nobody permission to be in the store. Well, motherfucker, we got text messages. And that guy named CJ? Well, you did an interview with him that says otherwise. I have no idea how much money we lost. I have no idea how many cars were burnt. Well, that's weird, because a couple of days after that, you told CJ that you lost $2.5 million and that it was 130 cars that were burned. Those are pretty precise numbers. Well, I have my father is the one who deals with the money. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you say again? The dude probably grew up there. I guarantee he's probably a citizen and he grew up there. And that's a beauty. And that's the reason why we had our chats locked down, because I knew if we have people that come on that are just pretending that they don't, I guarantee if we look him up, the guy's probably been here for his whole life. Probably speaks English. And he kept saying, I just don't understand your question. And they'd be like, so where were you on the 25th? After they talked about what they did that entire day. And he's like, the 25th was what day? Was it a different day than we just described? Oh, no, it's the same day? Well, I don't remember. How many people actually watched that? How many people watched that on Friday? And here's the thing. For some reason, Adam, if you're watching, if you could download Friday's episode and put that on, that would be awesome, because it should be on there on demand. But Friday will play tomorrow night. So what is today? What is it right now? It's 7:40. So if I end this in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to play 2 hours and 20 minutes of Marlon Brando's One-Eyed Jack after this on Citizen Stringer. And then we'll have 24 hours of the trial. So day 2, 3, and 4. And 5, that'll play back. So day 4 will happen 18 hours from 10 o'clock tonight, right roughly. What's 18 hours from 10 o'clock tonight? I don't care. Yeah, but you know what I mean. That's when you can watch Friday's trial. And Friday was a pretty good one because it had both of these guys on. It had Sal and Sam. Now, I firmly thought the prosecution, because again, I can't figure out why the prosecution is doing the defense's job. It's just very odd. I think they really just felt the woke pressure to hold Kyle accountable, and they did it. And they're like, and you could tell the judge is the judge knows what's right. It's some of the stuff he says where he's giving Bible verses to the jury and all this stuff. I'm like, man, there's no way. Like one jurist was like, it doesn't matter. It's fucking unbelievable. Someone said you could tell he was Americanized, something like that. Yeah. And the guy Sam that said he didn't know how many cars were burned, didn't know how much the cars were worth, although we already know that he did because he said it during numerous interviews. He's the inventory manager. It's literally his job, and he said that was his job. It's literally his job to manage the inventory, which means he needs to know exactly how many cars they have, what they spent on those cars, what their profit margin. That's what an inventory manager at a car dealership does. But it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It really is. That whole trial right now is just, it's such a sham, but it has very, very important consequences because in either way, Antifa has already taken to social media saying that if Kyle walks, they're going to burn this country down. Now, granted, those are, Portland, heroin addicts or whatever they are from Portland, the Antifa scumbag Twitter-esque people, the people that have no life. A threat's still a threat. Nobody does anything about threats. Well, unless it's a conservative, then they go full board at them. What else do they do to conservatives? Well, you know what they do to conservative journalists? This next story, that was quite the segue, right? This next story is going to piss you off. Because you thought the story I told you about Newsmax mandating vaccines for their employees was messed up, right? Because it is just, on that whole concept, they call themselves conservatives and freedom of choice and all that bullshit. Project Veritas. The FBI is actively going after Project Veritas. And you guys know from watching my feed, I've gotten some flack for it because I'm not a big fan of this undercover journalism and hiding and doing all the shady shit to get people to do shit. Like, I just don't like it. It's not my style of journalism. I'm saying there is a place for it because how else are we going to actually find out the stuff they don't want? I just don't like it. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not watching you anymore. You shit on Project Veritas. And I'm like, no, what I said is I just don't believe that you should call women inside at night and say, hey, someone just ran into your car just to get them to come out so you can ambush them with a camera. I think that's low. Walk right into the damn building and ambush them with a camera there. That's what you do. You don't do stupid, crazy shit like that. Anyway, there's still you all get it. This whole story is so weird, okay? And apparently it's been going on for a long time. I just learned about it the other day. Apparently, Ashley Biden, who is Joe Biden's daughter, is the sibling of Hunter Biden that we never apparently hear. Did you know she had a diary? And in that diary, she made some horrible allegations against her old father, who is our president of the United States. Right? Well, said diary was apparently found by a whistleblower who was trying to shop it to media outlets a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago. And they couldn't get anyone to actually bite on it because they couldn't verify whether the diary was actually hers, even though, well, there's enough evidence that says it is. That they leaked it to Project Veritas. Now, Project Veritas tried to verify the authenticity of said diary, and they were unable to do so. So Project Veritas decided they would not publish it. Now, they contacted the attorney for Ashley Biden, and who refused to acknowledge whether this diary was hers or not. Therefore, they wouldn't turn it over to her. So they did the next best thing. They turned it into law enforcement, according to them. Now, all the while, there's been no mention of this, right? For a long time. Then it all came to head. On Thursday, FBI raided 2 Project Veritas journalists' homes. On Thursday morning, the FBI, I want to say this correctly, Joe Biden's privatized law enforcement body decided that they were going to target journalists, and they raided their homes looking for this diary. Now, they issued a private grand jury subpoena or something to James O'Keefe, and he posted screenshots of the subpoena where the FBI said, we can't tell you not to talk about it, but we would encourage you not to talk about this because then it may cause us to do more stuff with our investigation, blah, blah, blah. His lawyers told him, don't talk about it. That's it. You're opening a can of worms, James O'Keefe. Well, James O'Keefe on Thursday, or Thursday afternoon, I believe, or Friday, made it a video. And I tweeted out that video today, and you can find it on Twitter. It's all over Twitter. It's just not getting the same kind of shares, which is really weird. It's not as viral as some of the other stuff they do, which this is a much bigger story than they've reported on anything. This story, the fact that the FBI is raiding journalists' homes is way bigger than Antifa teaching kids in classrooms or the election shit in New Jersey. To me, this is huge. This is an utter encroachment of the First Amendment. They are going after the free press. That is literally what they are doing. But it's not going viral for some reason. So James O'Keefe makes this video and he explains the whole thing. And now he doesn't talk about all the crazy, weird accusations against Joe Biden. He doesn't go into all that. And there's pictures. You could find some of the pictures of this said diary online, and it's gross. It's gross. It's not surprising if you pay attention to what kind of scumbag Joe Biden is. But nonetheless, it's still disgusting. And he doesn't really, go into it too much. But he says, he talks about the whole thing. Everything that I just told you about this whole Ashley Biden diary, he talks about. That's where I got the information from his video. So he says that they received it. He said how they received it, that the blower stayed in a hotel room or stayed in a room after she did and recovered this, and then blah, blah, blah. And it went on. Now, the FBI apparently opened a case about a year ago because apparently they reported their stuff was stolen. Okay, that Ashley Biden, which doesn't make sense why the FBI would be involved a year ago, because he was nothing at that point, right? He was not the vice president. He was not a sitting politician. So you would think that if someone had some shit stolen, guess what? It wouldn't be a matter of national security, so therefore the FBI would not be investigating. But apparently the FBI was investigating. So even though Project Veritas spoke to the damn law enforcement to turn over this diary, Project Veritas agents had their houses swarmed. So James O'Keefe made a video explaining all this and saying, listen, we're not going away. You can attack us all you want. We're not going away. And you could tell me I'm not allowed to speak about it, but guess what? I'm going to speak about it. So you know what? The FBI had a response for him. Do you know what the response was? The FBI served a search warrant on James O'Keefe's apartment in New York City this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. James O'Keefe, I don't believe, and maybe he has since I've done this video, but there was a little tweet that was going around for a while that was saying, where's James O'Keefe? Because the New York Times is the one who reported. Here's the thing. The New York Times contacted James O'Keefe and the Project Veritas team for a comment about the FBI raids on Thursday while they were going on. So before anybody knew that this was even going on, the New York Times knew that this raid was taking place and what it was taking place for. Today, the New York Times reported that James O'Keefe had his apartment raided by the FBI. They spoke to the neighbors and all that stuff that saw it. So it was like out of a movie. They heard bang, 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 search warrant with the FBI at 6 o'clock this morning. This is an attack on journalism. Look at what's going on now in this country, okay? Let's look at the big picture, okay? I don't mean to scare you, but tighten your seatbelts right now. We have a vaccine mandate where apparently now it's been stopped, but let's pretend like we didn't know this from a couple hours ago. A vaccine mandate goes into a place saying that any employer over 100 employees has to mandate a vaccine or get tested, otherwise suffer massive business-ending, bankruptcy-forming fines from the federal government if they don't comply. Businesses are mandating all this stuff, right? We have people that are being on trial for seriously, on video defending themselves. You can't have a more open and shut case. Like, I understand you want to try to get them for some gun bullshit that you can't because you had someone actually testify that they bought the gun and they left it there. And they were told you can't have the gun until then. Blah, 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 blah. They're trying to say he covered state lines, or because when he shot and then he went over there to Illinois, so they're trying to get him there, blah, blah, blah. But you have a guy that literally defended himself while getting attacked, and he's being charged. And now you have the federal government going after journalists. Literally going after journalists. Sir, you can't even make this shit up. And then to be if you want to like really just have all your cards line up, go watch Patriot Purge. Oh my God, dude. I listened to Patriot Purge while I was printing off 100 shirts today. And I'm like, this shit is, we better wake the hell up. We better wake up. I'm not trying to be scary or anything, but we better wake up. This country is in such a dire strait. We will not make it another 3 years. I don't even think we'll make it a year if we don't start paying attention to what the hell is going on. Because here's the thing. We just had huge election victories here in Virginia, right? We showed them, right? We even, our own Kate, who's in the chat right now, I can't say your last name. She's on Facebook, huge viewer of the show. She ran for school board. She won her school board seat. She won, Kate. Yeah, yes, Kate. Everyone give Kate a round of applause. She did a great job. Great job. And I forgot what I was saying. It's getting towards the end of the day. What time is it? 8 o'clock. It's been an hour. It's been a good run. Oh man, it's been something else. Someone said, "We'll be okay, bud. We've been screaming these for years and years." You know what? And I don't know. There's a couple of people today I was really tempted to send that Patriot Purge video to. I'd just be like, listen, what do you think about this? Like you're God's honest truth right now. What do you think about what he's saying? Just to see, because I already know a lot about what's going on with the January 6th detainees. I've talked to a lot. We may start having a couple of the people that are currently being detained write a couple of articles under specific guidelines. Because here again, just for the record, I'm not a believer that the people that are, not all of the people that are arrested are innocent. I'm not a believer of that. I think if you're going to punch a cop in the face, well, suffer the consequences. You're going to break a window at the Capitol, suffer the consequences. All right? Stand for what you did if that's what you want to do, but suffer the consequences. But being locked in 23-hour lockdown for 9 months is not a consequence. That is a political, attack that's happening there. But yeah, Adam, you'll see I've rearranged, because Adam's listening to me right now. So sorry, we got to do tech stuff. I rearranged day 1 or day 2, 3, and 4 already in the playlist, all of them. So they're going to play anyway in order. Slip day 5 in there after 4, and I'll check when I'm done. But yeah, slip it in there, because I already know when I'm pressing to make my shit play as soon as I'm done. But yeah, you'll see. So we're going to play. So after this show, we're going to play One-Eyed Jack, and then we're going to play 24 hours of the trial. So you can literally just sleep listening to it. And there's lots of silence because we didn't really talk during all the recesses, and they took quite a few. Someone said, what is the Patriot Purge video? It's Tucker Carlson put out a video. It's on Fox Nation. I actually paid the $5.99 per month to sign up for Fox Nation today, just to watch this video. And I think it was worth it. Do I think that they may have made stretches here or there? Yeah, probably. But I don't, you can't even believe, well, you guys can, because you watch this shit. See, so you know what's going on. But it's just so weird that this shit is happening in this country. I was thinking about something today at dinner, because today I was having nachos. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing. So I was playing on my phone while I was eating dinner. And I was on Twitter and I'm reading all these conservative, like Matt Gaetz had written something about Dave Portnoy because Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports is getting attacked by Business Insider, saying just the same like sexual aggression shit that Matt Gaetz went through, the same bullshit, and Dave Portnoy is fighting back against it, and good for him. It's just scumbaggy stuff that's going on with the media now. Business Insider is apparently attacking Dave Portnoy, and Matt Gaetz made a comment about it. But then I go into the comments of Matt Gaetz' tweet, and I look at all the comments, and I'm like, holy shit, these are not his fans. They're not. Because here's the thing. I go to a lot of like people I follow, and so I follow a lot for news. So I follow some leftists and shit like that for what I do for a living. I'm a reporter. That's what I do. So I follow some of them and I look at their comments every now and then, and I'll find something outrageous. And I'm like, holy shit, like, how can you write this? I can't wait to read these comments. And it's people like, I believe it. This is great. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, someone's speaking the truth. Like all this shit in agreeance. Right? It's all their fans. What you don't have is a bunch of people that are tweeting at them going, you're fucking stupid. Like everything you say is bullshit. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Now, and I challenge everyone to do this. When you're on Twitter, go to conservative commentators. Not me, I'm not big enough. Go to these big guys like Posobiec and Gaetz and politicians, Marjorie Taylor Greene, any of these people, and look at the comments. The people that are what the fuck is this? Oh, hold on. What the hell is this sound coming from? You guys don't hear that, right? Or do you hear that? I don't hear what that's from. All right, so I'll just turn this off. I think it's coming from something. I hear the trial. I hear when they dismissed. I don't know if it's coming from Adam's feed or what. Or not Adam's feed, because he's not playing it. So I don't know what it's from. If you guys don't hear it, you don't hear it. All right. Well, fuck, I just lost my train of thought because someone started talking into my headphones, and I was like, what the hell? I don't know what that was. That is very odd to me. Very odd. Anyway, someone said, Steve, I've been working a lot. Did I miss coverage of affected bill passed to truckers? No. And that's the last thing we're going to talk about, the infrastructure bill. Because here's one of the craziest things about this infrastructure bill that I just think is nuts. Okay, part of this infrastructure bill was the passage of the Drive Safe Act. They've effectively, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, they've effectively created a program in an effort to stop this driver shortage to make indentured servants out of 18 to 20-year-olds that want to drive truck. So this Drive Safe Act, which makes an apprenticeship program, apparently for kids, so that are 18 to 20 years old, that now they can drive interstate as long as they do 400 hours of additional training that would be required. Now, the only people that are going to be able to employ 18-year-old commercial truck drivers to drive interstate are these big trucking companies that self-insure anyway. They're going to get shit for pay. They're going to have to train longer. The carriers are still getting paid the full rate for that load moving. It's going to ruin trucking. I mean, there's no other. It's horrible. It's such a horrible thing. The $1 trillion infrastructure package that includes billions of dollars in roads and bridges. Out of the $1.7 trillion, only $110 billion actually goes to infrastructure. Isn't that crazy, right? By a vote here, hold on, let me minimize this because now I see Adam working on the other computer. It's distracting. I minimized it. Anyway, by a vote of 228 to 206, the House advanced the landmark infrastructure and Jobs Act, a key pillar of President Joe Biden's Build Back Better bullshit plan. The legislation will dedicate about $110 billion for highways and bridges, $66 billion for freight and passenger rail operations, $65 billion for rural broadband internet access, $46 billion for severe weather resilience climate change programs, $39 billion for transit systems, and $25 billion for modernization projects at airports. Specific to trucking, the bill will create a training and apprenticeship program for drivers younger than 21 to receive Class 8 trucks in interstate, or to drive Class 8 trucks, tractor trailers, in interstate commerce. The Developing Responsibility Individuals for a Vibrant Economy, or Drive Safe Act, was sponsored by Todd Young, a Republican, and included in the legislation. Per analysis from the American Trucking Associations, and I don't need to talk about it more, go look up my video. It's on YouTube right now. You can watch the video about the whole truck driver shortage. I go 22 minutes of me just ranting about the trucking industry if you need some to understand why that's bad. They said the bill will provide a 30% increase in funding for surface transportation systems over the next 5 years. The increase would amount to nearly $500 billion in new funding, including $347 billion for highways and $37 billion for bridges. The measure advances as the funding authority for the FAST Act, the nation's underlying highway law set to expire December 3rd. Under the legislation, the FAST Act received a 5-year extension. And then it just goes on. 13 Republicans. And here's the thing: all Democrats didn't vote for this. All those progressive holdouts, AOC, and all the rest of those idiots, they all didn't vote for this. They stood by their guns and said, "We're not doing it." 13 turncoat Republicans voted on this. It's absolutely nutty, and people are applauding this. Like the ATA is applauding this. This is great. They're saying roads and bridges are not political. We all drive on them. A majority of the House realized this tonight and did what's right for the country and not themselves. The ATA represents these huge trucking companies. This is bad. The Drive Safe Act is bad. It's going to cause truck insurance rates to go through the roof. It's going to drive prices further down because now they're going to be able to seat more drivers. They're going to be able to put all these kids behind the wheel who are going to drive down the road in 80,000-pound missiles, and they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to drive. You know, Fox News will get some trucker that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about to come on the air and talk about how this is a good idea. Oh, yeah, well, kids have this problem with cell phones. How about you just say who the second leading group of dangerous drivers on the road are? It's kids. It's that demographic, 18 to 25-year-olds. Those people, why do you think truck insurance, you don't get an insurance break until you're 35? Because that age group of truckers is crazy. If you're a trucking company owner, say you try to get insurance for a 36-year-old driver, never had any traffic issues, had his CDL for 7 years, and you try to insure a 27-year-old driver, never had any issues, had his license, his CDL, commercial driver's license, for 6 years, same time period. The driver that's 36 years old is going to be cheaper by thousands of dollars than the younger guy. It's just the way it works. But that's how this government does everything. They just pass these bills. They add trillions and trillions of dollars to, our spending. And I don't know. And you know what I get? You know what I get out of this? My wife and I, we both got another IRS bill today. Something to do with repayment of the CARES Act funding because I'm self-employed. Now, even though my wife got the notice, it's got my social on it, but because we're on the same tax return, that's why I guess she got it. But now by December, what is it? 22nd, I think it is. By December 1st or December of this year, I got to pay another $4,000. Let's just tack that up to the $28,000 that I had to pay last year. Let's tack it up to probably the $50,000 I'm going to have to pay this year. And we're already paying for this plan, and the money's not even spent. The money's not even earned. They don't even know where they're going to pay for this. And now they're going to be trying to pass this Build Back Better bullshit plan. There was something. And I don't know. I just saw a video on Twitter right before I made this video where they were talking about methane gas tax on animals. And I don't know if that's in the Build Back Better plan or if that's in this plan, the infrastructure bill that just passed. But they were talking about how now for a cow, a dairy or meat cow or something like that, you're going to have to pay $4,500 in methane tax. And I don't know who the politician was, but I saw it. She had the whole bill there. I just don't know if it was the Build Back Better or the infrastructure plan because I'm not going to read either of them because I don't care. Though one thing I may just do is move my family elsewhere. I really may. I mean, I keep asking, but here's the problem. Where can you go? You can't even go visit. I wanted to like compete next year in Australia. That's where the nationals for the powerlifting are going to be. I can't even go to Australia because I'm not going to be able to get back in. I'm going to need to be vaccinated. This fucking shit is nuts. We're stuck here unless we're done. But now I have an RV. I could just go roam. I could just be free. But man, it's just crazy. Build back better bullshit plan. That's what I call it. That's what I've always called it. That's what I'll keep calling it. Methane tax for anybody who can't eat nachos, Steve. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know if that methane tax is on the infrastructure plan or not. Just in case you guys didn't know, if you check the description of this video, if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube, you can check the description of this video, and we have a link in there to our December mystery box, or now we're calling them Patriot boxes, because they're all, and they should have been called Patriot boxes from the start, because they're just full of Patriot gear. The November ones, for everyone out here, I've got them all made. That's what I finished printing up today. I'm not sending them because I don't have the coins yet. I have everything else. I just don't have the coins. I'm apparently getting the coins this week. They've shipped. I chewed out the guy last night. Said, where are my fucking coins? Because I'm sending challenge coins with each of the November boxes. So they're all here. They're ready to go. They are, you know, some of you aren't even expecting them till the 15th, but I already have them ready. So if I get the coins on Monday, they're all going out on Monday. You guys will all get notifications, but I'm not going to ship them without it. But our December mystery boxes are all going to have a Christmas ornament. And I gotta tell you, it does say something about keeping Christ in Christmas. And then it says, you know, have a yeety Christmas or something like that. I forgot what I put in there, but it was goofy, you know, cause I'm a goofy guy. But we have a Christmas ornament, and I'm going to do a giveaway or like a surprise thing with that, where if you take a picture of your Christmas tree with that ornament on it, I'll post it online. We'll do that. We're going to start doing a lot more audience stuff with this show because I just like it and the involvement in that stuff. Someone said goofy looking. Okay. You got me. Call me goofy looking. I think I look damn good, okay? Now that I lost like 10 pounds from being sick. I can't go to the gym. I'm giving myself till Monday to go to the gym. It kind of sucks because I was starting a new routine, new diet, new all that to start training again for powerlifting. And yeah, got sick. Couldn't do it. But I lost 10 pounds, so down under 300 pounds now. I think I'm like 295 now. Very good, very good. But yeah, you can find that box. That box is in the chat. Or the Patriot box. Order it now. We're only doing 100 of them. I said that for November, but I think before I shut it off, it was 130 sold, which meant I had to buy more shirts and do all that stuff and rush. So I'm not doing that. I'm only doing 100 of the December because I only ordered 100 of the Christmas ornaments. So, and you'll never be able to get the ornament. Otherwise, we're still giving away another TV. Also, if you got your October boxes, one person in there won a TV. I know I got the gift card, or not the gift card, the thank you card. I wrote that you won on a thank you card and send it out in your box. So no one's claimed it. Yeah, I know it went out. So let me know. Someone said, "What do I weigh in when I compete?" I don't know. I mean, when I first started 2 years ago, competing powerlifting, I was 275 and I broke all of the records. And then I missed weight, so I competed at 304 and broke all those records. And then I said, screw this, I'm not going to cut weight anymore. And I did super heavyweight when I went out to Ireland, I think, and I broke those records too and placed second in the world. And then I finished 8th for submaster drug tested powerlifting. I think I was in the 304 category, 8th in the world. So, and everyone can look that up, all you son of a bitches. You can go to Open Records or whatever the hell it is, that powerlifting thing, and you can all look it up. Someone said, he's not even going to mention the National Blue Collar Walkout Day, Monday the 9th. Do you know that there's like a National Blue Collar Walkout Day every single day? I'm sorry I didn't see anything on it. You're the first person that I heard about it. So maybe take a little bit less sass in the way you type. I'm just kidding. I figured that's how you said it. He's not even going to mention. I thought he would have got my emails where I was like, you got to mention this on your show. No, All right. So someone said, what do I think about the Ahmed Aubrey case? I don't know. I haven't even heard anything about it. All right. So let me talk real quick about what we're doing tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be giving away a ton of shit, but we're only giving it away to people from Citizen Stringer. Now, you don't need to watch. If you have a prior commitment, blah, 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 I'm just going to take the list of all the active members that have been members, and it doesn't matter if you registered today for a membership tomorrow, but I'm going to take a list. I'm going to be giving away sweatshirts. I'm going to be giving away coffee. I'm going to be giving away a TV, like I said, and those will only be, even though I'll live stream to all of social media, because it's going to be myself, Adam, I think Scott's going to try to come on. We're going to have some other stuff, and we're just going to kind of just talk kind of like I did today, but in more in depth and have other people talking. But we're just going to add pepper in giveaways. The giveaways, everybody who's getting free shit, you'll only be Citizen Stringer members. So you have to be a member, because it's a year. Yes, or tomorrow, a year ago, we actually launched this. So November 7th of 2020 is when we launched our OTT platform. And we're doing well. So if you want to have it, we're working on a lot of stuff. There is going to be a new show that's going to come on in probably another week or two that I'm going to host. I think it's going to be twice a week, and it's going to be in the morning, and it's going to be called Capacity Today. And it's going to be just about the trucking industry. It'll be a morning show, so it'll be, the stuff to get you guys going in the trucking industry. It's going to focus on trucking, logistics, supply chain, weather sometimes, things that impact trucking crime, goofy stuff. But that's going to be a more interviewee show. So we'll have a lot of guests on. And I think to start off, just so I don't add too much to my plate, I'll probably do twice a week. That'll be on there. And you guys will see why, because we're also going to be launching a website that's just geared towards the logistics and supply chain industry, because we have to. Because it's the reason why I started Freight Broker Live in the first place. The voice of the truckers are not getting heard. You know what I mean? And so not only that, but they're also not getting the news that they need to actually get in order to do their jobs, and understand that people still hear them. So I started out in the trucking industry, and we're going to focus on that. Citizen Stringer is still going. My Wake Up America show is still going to be full of the same politics that you love or hate, whatever. And I'll still do that Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock every day. Pete Santilli is on from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Citizen Stringer. And then he comes back on from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Also on Citizen Stringer. And someone said, do Wake Up America 3 times a week. I don't know. Maybe, because then I there's a lot more to talk about. Look at that. I meant to do an hour today. It's been an hour and 22 minutes, and I'm still going. I don't care. Maybe I just won't stop. Maybe I'll sit back, stay here with you guys. I'm wearing sweatpants because it's fucking cold, and I don't own any pants. I lost weight, so the one pair of pants that I bought the other day don't fit me anymore. I mean, can't make this shit up. Anyway, I'm going to leave. Someone said, do I have to ask, do the kids in Portland still stream? Nah, nobody really streams these protests that much anymore. And what a lot of people are doing now, if there are protests, they're not live streaming them. They're recording them and selling their footage. That's what everyone's doing now, is just selling their footage. We are still expanding. We should, in the next couple of months, we kind of put everything on the low rate because it's Christmas time. People don't contribute that much anymore. I don't know if we even received a singular super chat during the show, which I don't care. Not your obligation. I'm sure we've sold a Patriot box or two, which is fine. That's how we could do this. You guys are going to see, we have a meeting this week. April, myself, Adam, all the other people that are involved. We're going to have a meeting this week. You're going to start seeing some more advertisements on the shows. You're going to see more advertisements on the websites and things like that, because we have to. I mean, it's a business. We have to do what we have to do, or I'll just, double the cost of the Patriot boxes. I don't want to do that. So we gotta just keep doing it, take on some advertising revenue and stuff like that. Someone said, is Citizen Stringer the same as the old membership? Oh yeah, it is. Same thing. Same thing. And if you had a PTN membership, it's just The difference is it's Citizen Stringer now. All of our apps are out. You can go on Roku. You can do it. Like, yeah, see, I just logged into YouTube. 500 people watching, 0 in super chats. And again, that's fine. We don't need the super chats. It's just we have to get advertising and stuff because I got to be able to pay people. It's Christmas. I would love to be able to give people a Christmas bonus. You know what I mean? But now we have the office, the studio. We've got the studio in Georgia. Should I tell him Adam and April? Nah, you know what? But we have some big. We're gonna have a documentary that's gonna come out pretty soon. Okay, it's gonna involve something. I'm not telling you. And we're also gonna have a special exclusive interview this week that you guys are gonna watch. And because Citizen Stringer is what it is, I'm going to release it to members on Citizen Stringer, both the documentary and the exclusive interview that we're doing this week. Those will be released for people they'll be premiered, I guess, on Citizen Stringer before they're even released on social media, before we tell you who they are or anything like that. The people on Citizen Stringer will know about it. I'll send an email to all active members. So those are going to be good. Someone said 605 on YouTube. I don't know. It shows 501 right now. But it doesn't matter. It's cool. What time are the giveaways tomorrow? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock tomorrow. We will be live, Citizen Stringer TV. I'll also be live on social media because we're going to do a news show and all that stuff. But we're going to be live on Citizen Stringer giving away stuff. So you have to be on Citizen Stringer to win something, which means you have to have a membership over there. You don't need to. You're still going to be able to watch and have a fun show. But if you want to win a 55-inch TV live on the air, well, do you. Someone said the Braves won the World Series. Yeah, I don't care. I don't even follow baseball anymore. Someone said I have 2 Citizen Stringer apps. Which is the correct one? The one that you can update. That's the best way. Delete them both. Go to and then Google Citizen Stringer. Or in the app on your phone. That's the easiest way to do it, to be completely honest, because we used another company to develop a Citizen Stringer app, a second one, and then they fucked us, and so it didn't work, so we redesigned the first one, which used to be PT News Network TV. That one is now Citizen Stringer. It should have probably updated on your system, and if it did, great. And if it didn't, I'm sorry. Go to the Google Play Store or iTunes, look up Citizen Stringer TV. It'll say it's installed. Use that one and delete the other one. Someone said, if we sign up today, are we still entered into the drawing? Anyone who signs up today, you'll be a member, so you'll be good. Because your membership will be good for a month. So even if you cancel tomorrow, it's still good for a month. But I tell you what, if I find out you want a TV and you charge back or you dispute your charge or something, I'm coming after you. That's theft of services. And here's your public service announcement. I will ring you through the ringer. Okay? I will ring you through the ringer. Igor said, hey, Steve, I like it when you keep your shows long. Bought the Patriot box for November. Thank you for all you do. Please look for my email regarding lifetime coffee box. I saw that. You're going to get your box pretty soon. I saw that yesterday. Sorry I didn't reply. I've been sick. But yeah, you're getting that. You're getting that, Igor. Yeah. Did you send me your address? You may have to send it again. And by the way, thank you for that $50 super chat. That's the first super chat I think I've had. I think I got $20 on day 3 of the Rittenhouse trial, which is fine. Fine. Don't need it. We sell the Patriot boxes, which is plenty. And we're going to get some advertising and all that stuff in here. I'm going to give a shout out to the people that did do it. Angel, Ricky, Leanne, Sandra, Judy, and Linda. You all bought Patriot boxes or sweatshirts. Yeet Definition Hood. And everyone else had the Patriot boxes. So, cool. Thank you, guys. Anyone else who wants to get one of those boxes is going to have a cool Christmas ornament, all that stuff, plus a bunch of other stuff. You can sign up. Link is in the chat. If you want to sign up to become a member on Citizen Stringer TV, where we broadcast live, Pizza and Tilly only broadcast live there. And then he's on his social media and stuff, but we don't put it through there. And again, we're playing a movie right now after. It's One-Eyed Jacks. It's going to play as soon as I'm done. That'll play on there. And there's a bunch of good people. How many people do we have on Citizen Stringer right now in the chat? Probably a lot, right? 110. Just chilling. They talk. They're all super nice. Go join them. Say hi to James and Kat and Devil Dog and Granny Kathy and Texas Gator and Red and Wendy and Shay Lynn and Richard and Cadigan and Love Two Limes and Tammy Bonds and Big Mikey, and Igor with another $50 super chat. Dude, thank you, bro. You're boss, man. You're the boss. Truckee said, don't tell them about my interview. Truckee said, I want to know how to get an app for my Samsung TV. We don't have it yet. Not for Samsung TV. But you can get I believe you can get the app on your phone and Chromecast it to your TV. You could do that. It's pretty awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap so we can watch this movie. I'm going to go home and do all that. As up for this week, Monday, we'll do the show tomorrow night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm probably only going to do a couple of shows because we're covering the trial for next week. And then I'm going to get this new capacity thing going, which you guys will see. Anyone who likes transportation or likes, because I like to concentrate on the things I like in the transportation industry. So I kind of report on them the same way I do here with the shit that I like. And then I'm pretty hard on the shit I don't like. Same way with trucking, same thing. But I like reverse logistics. I like doing interviews with people. I could talk about it forever. And so we'll be doing a lot of that coming up. And I'll explain that more in the next couple of weeks. But cool, guys, I appreciate you guys for being here. Someone said only old videos. Don't know what that means. But yes, One-Eyed Jack is going to be playing in approximately 60 seconds on Citizen Stringer. Everyone on Facebook, YouTube,